Probably one of my favorite features in Toon Boom software is the ability to mess with the Z-axis. Now, if you think about X, Y, and Z, X, of course, is going to be any coordinates moving from left to right and Y being up and down. Well, Z, you can actually move backward and forward. Now, this comes in handy, especially when you're designing characters. I have our little character here. And if you look, I have several different layers, and I have the nose beneath the eye layer. And if you look at this, it looks a little bit off. And technically, I could probably just simply move it above. And so now the nose looks like it's in the right spot. But there are other reasons that I would want to change this. So I'm going to come back down here, place the nose back where it was, and there may be times where you're going to have to move something forward without changing the layer hierarchy. And that's where the Z-axis comes in. So in order to do this, you want to make sure that you have your focus on enter property turned on. Meaning, if you notice, I have this little thin red line around my camera view. And if I move my cursor down to the timeline, it's now around the timeline. In order to do that, you want to go to Animate, Preferences, and you want to go to General, and under Options, make sure you focus on mouse enter. Okay? And the reason you want to do that, in order to get your Z-axis to work, especially with your shortcut keys, you're going to have to make sure you're in the camera view. So what I want to do is select my transform tool. I have the nose selected, and if you look where my cursor is right now, I am in the timeline view. I need to move up to the camera view, so the camera view is now active. I'm going to hold down my Option key, Alt on PC, and on my keyboard, I'm going to press the down arrow just once. Now, what's happened, even though the nose is on a lower layer than the eyes, messing with the Z-axis, I've actually moved it forward. So now, throughout the entire animation, we have the nose exactly where we want it to be. Now, the other cool thing about the Z-axis is you can actually animate it. So if you look, we also have bars on our timeline, and we have this little simple red dot. And the red dot is beneath the bars on the timeline. So if I kind of drag it across here, you can see that the bars are in front. And I'll go ahead and turn on our animate button and move our playhead to frame 30. And I want this to go all the way to the other side. So if I scrub this, it's just now working back and forth. Now, what I'd like to do is it goes behind the bars the first time through. The second bar, I actually want it to go over. So in order to do this, I'm going to zoom in, do Command equals, and this is the last frame before it touches the next black bar. So I'm going to insert a keyframe. Let's do F6. Move my playhead just once. And on the very next keyframe, I'm going to make sure that I'm in the camera view. That's active. I'll again hold down my Option key, Alt on PC, and press the down arrow to move it forward in the Z-axis. It's going to move forward with my playhead. And this is the last frame before it goes to the last bar here. So we'll insert another keyframe, F6, move forward one more frame. We'll insert another keyframe, F6, and we'll go up to our camera view again. I'm going to hold down my Option key, and this time I'm going to press the up arrow. And that's going to push that one backwards behind the bars again. So I'm going to turn off our animate button, go to our select tool, and I'm just going to scrub this, and we can now see we have kind of a complex animation, even though we have not changed our layers. And this is simply done by animating the z-axis. So whether you have an object like the nose that's going to be stationary over time, or if you want to have something animated like the red dot moving between the bars, we can move things back and forward on the z-axis just by simply using keyboard shortcuts.